All right, so we are underway here. We got Peter Liota with us, the Utica Yeti defenseman transition guy, spark plug, some might say, lightning bolt. You got all kinds of nicknames. What's going on, bud?
Nothing much. Just working right now and trying to get the stick in my hand as much as I can on the off season.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, do you work with your dad there at Family Landscaping? Is that you guys, right?
Yes, that is us.
That's awesome. So you guys own, operate that, and you sponsor the team.
Hell yeah, always gotta support. The dream of the Yeti is growing, and I went home and I was like, "Hey, Dad, like Mr. Necker needs some sponsorships," and he was quick on it.
Yeah, your dad's awesome. I love going there, and we got to sit next to him for a little bit at nationals before they asked him to leave for the rest of the evening, which was quite funny. He left for about 5 minutes, came back without his hoodie on, and was like, "All right, here we go."
Oh yeah, he's that's not the first time, and it definitely that was a memorable one. Even the guys working the penalty box there were like, didn't that guy just get kicked out? Like they spotted him immediately. He didn't trick anyone. Yeah, that was a good laugh everyone had.
Yeah, that was awesome. I love it because no matter where we are, your dad is always cheering the loudest. Yeah, even like in the game that you weren't playing, he's still up there screaming and yelling. Your dad is he's awesome. So glad to hear.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised to hear he sponsors the team. Somebody told me he's a retired firefighter out of the city.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, so that makes sense. I know several guys that have done that. You can't do a job like that and not be pretty much direct and to the point. And here we go.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's been like that his whole life.
Yeah. So, what is your lacrosse story, Ben? Where did you start playing?
Wow. So it all started with Coach Necker actually. Um, well, funny enough, it started with my friend in third grade. He was like, "Hey, I'm gonna play lacrosse," and I was like, "Well, you know what? I'll do it with you." And so we went to over the Tri City Fields over in Rome, and I believe Tom Shane, I believe it's Ben and Steve Shane's dad was our first coach with Mr. Necker when I was a kid, and it all started from there.
Yeah, Paul has that effect. He wants everybody to have fun. It's a very interesting style. Uh,
Mhm.
so you played that through the Tri City. You're a Whitesboro guy, right?
Yes, sir.
So you played field in Whitesboro High School.
Yes, I played 1 year of modified in seventh grade, and then they were asked me to go up to JV in eighth grade, and then right from freshman year, Coach Temple over at Whitesboro pulled me up on varsity, and I played 4 years of varsity there. Three actually, because 1 year got canceled because of COVID. But
Yeah, that sucks. That ruined a lot of shit for a lot of people. It's really unfortunate. But
yeah,
now you so other than that, when did you first start playing box lacrosse?
um, I first started one time. I played like 2 games with this guy who Paul knows really well. His name is Mike Gurnett. Um, you might know him, maybe not. One of those Rome guys, and it was out in Syracuse. He's the coach of the Red Hawks team. Uh, and he was a good guy. Went out to Syracuse, played like 2 small pickup games, nothing crazy, and then that was it. And then I dropped out of college after a semester and really wanted to like keep playing. And Paul reached out to me and was like, "Hey, you Yeti tryouts are this time. Like, come on by." And that was where it all started, really.
Yeah, that's awesome to see. Now, I mean, you say you wanted to keep your stick in your hand, but you can tell you're an athlete. This isn't it's not like you got out of shape. What is it? I've talked to you a couple times about this, but you jujitsu, boxing.
Yeah, jujitsu and boxing. I did jujitsu and like karate ever since I was a kid, and well, I started boxing right after college because I was getting a little too old, and I came home with nothing really, and there's no real like really good like jujitsu gyms around here, and I was just like boxing, so I picked that up, and I still do that now. With the whole Yeti season, I went while playing lacrosse and continue to do it now.
Yeah, there's no workout like fighting. I mean, if it's jiu-jitsu, boxing, any type of combat sport like that where you're you know, there's nothing like battling for yourself. There's no simulated workout like that. You can see it out on the floor. You most of the reason I think you get the nicknames you do, Spark Plug and Lightning Bolt, is the energy level you play with. The picture I have behind me is probably my favorite goal of yours. You catch the ball on transition and just rip the shot right before the it was like point 0.7 seconds left to, you know, tie the game. It was, yeah, it was epic going into half. You really uh yeah, you have that like extra gear, just like earlier in that game it was 3-0. You steal the ball, run down, just bury it. You were just like, I don't care. Me, the goalie, the ball, everything is going in that net. Here we go.
Yeah, that was a fun game. And like going into it, I had like a just a gut feeling, and I don't know if it was like nervousness or anxiety or what, but I just when I was in the locker room and driving out there, I was just nervous and like I just had a feeling like something crazy
Here
was
we
going to
go,
happen,
Liota with a big
and
turnover.
no matter what it was, whether it was me or someone else or the whole team,
Yeah,
but and I guess that was it,
goal is
and
good.
it was definitely memorable. That was a fun game.
Yeah, you had a great game. You've played great everywhere. Every time you play, you're more of a so you play
Liota
defense, but you
hustling,
definitely have no problem
hustling like
running
a
the
light
floor
rail
up.
guy.
Have you always played D and field
Whoa!
lacrosse, or were you a
Push,
midi
that's
or?
our ball.
I was
Great job,
I started
Liota.
out as a midfield
Can't push the burrow,
player,
guys.
and then I love defense. So then I became a big D midi, but I also like ran up the O side. I had the most goals and assists my senior year, but I also had to play goalie for 2 games and had to sit 1 game. And it was just if I had to put a D pole in my hand, I've ran LSM before. I've ran man down D pole. Like I've just all over the field. You could put me somewhere and I'll play it. I'm comfortable all over.
Yeah, you're definitely a versatile player that speaks volumes to your your ability as an athlete and your knowledge of the D positioning. I was just looking through. I was actually cutting some highlights from the Gold Star game, which definitely wasn't it wasn't a terrible performance by the Yeti, but definitely not their best game. But I'm actually watching you, and you're way out on the guy, just putting pressure on people all the time. I mean, the best way to get somebody to make a mistake is if you can have that constant pressure, and then it comes down to, okay, who's got the bigger gas tank? Can you really
Mhm.
keep this pressure up the whole game? Plus, people make different decisions under pressure, and I don't know if that's something you really work on or just pride yourself on, but you have a huge gas tank, and I just watch you like smashing people outside, driving them out. As soon as your guy gets the ball, your sticks on his hands. You're
Mm. I could really contribute that to Coach Tony. I know he's always harping on it, like just get out on their hands, get out there, and it's like ooh, I'm a big guy on. If I make a mistake, it'll haunt me forever. So if I get burnt, I get burnt. But I know if I'm on their hands, it's more likely that they're going to turn the ball over than me leading to a goal. Even though that does happen, even if I'm out on someone, they still get by me and they score. But I try to just get out there, be aggressive, and hopefully turn the ball over or just make them pass it away.
yeah, and I mean, like you said, the last clip I was looking at ended up being one of their goals, but your guy, and that's exactly what it was. The pressure on him forces him to the outside, and he's like, I can't get by this guy. I'm just going to throw the ball away. But a lot of times doing that, you can even cause turnovers just with the bad pass. The now I heard somebody say you've got a PBLA tryout.
I do, yes.
When is that coming up? Do you know?
I believe the first week of December for the Virginia Hampton Hammerheads.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
I'm very excited. And I would love to like thank Tony for that. Coach, the coach of the team called me and said like, "Hey, you're not gonna come to free agency camp. Tony put in a very good word for you. He's a very reputable man, and he wants me to go straight to their home thing in Virginia and Joe play there. And I'm very excited, very very excited. I couldn't be more thankful for what the Yeti has opened like many doors for me, and I couldn't be more thankful.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So like I mean you think about it and the whole Yeti thing's a community, but like Paul doing all this and everything, it is awesome because like it gave somebody like you who's a great athlete was looking for a way to play competitive lacrosse and this definitely seems more your style of lacrosse than field. Not saying that I'm sure you wouldn't enjoy field or still enjoy field, but like you can see out there you're in your element and then to be able to now get a tryout with a pro team after. So did you play last year with the Yeti or is this your first year?
This is my first year.
That's impressive. So this is your first year playing, really like really playing box, and
Mhm.
yeah, having Coach Tony, having Neil, like the knowledge you guys get from that team, and then Paul putting it all together, making sure you guys have turf time, you guys get to practice in the odd sometimes. You guys, yeah, Paul definitely organizes a great show. And now, what are you doing to get yourself prepared for that tryout? Like, what is your workout routine? What is a day like for you?
So ever since I got that phone call, I turned my eating habits around. I was eating junk, putting on some weight, and ever since then I've been really eating a lot better and running a lot. You know, keeping my feet moving, making sure that I'll be able to run and keep going because that's what a lot of those teams are looking for, some nice young legs. And I'm going out to with the man I mentioned before, Michael Gurnett. I'm gonna go out to his facility in Albany, and he's gonna run some D drills with me, and we'll get the Brock moving around a little bit. So
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm sure Yeti pickup should be starting here pretty soon too, hopefully. So, yeah, great. This
yeah,
will be,
they said November 22nd at the new Nexus Center.
that's awesome. So, yeah, you'll be rolling here in a couple of weeks. That's great with Mike down in Albany. You give me a call when you're heading down there because that's closer to me. Maybe I'll meet you down there and get some footage of you guys messing around.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll totally do that. Definitely.
Yeah. You now what do you do basically to keep your stick in your hand? Are you playing wall ball, just walking around with it, bouncing it, or
Yeah, so my basement isn't finished. It's just a cement foundation. So I'll just go down there and throw the ball at the wall a little bit, you know, practice some BTBs. You know, it's a little hard because the ceiling, but it's good to keep the ball like keep my eye on it and be accurate where I want the ball to go. So I'm not bouncing it off the ceiling and getting yelled at for making too much noise and breaking stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah, see, that's what I love about it is people find a way to do it, and that's what we did. We always just blasted pucks everywhere. But in your basement, like you said, that accuracy seems to be a huge thing because I mean these goalies have huge pads, so it doesn't really matter as much if you can throw it 1,000 miles an hour. It seems to be a lot more important to hit those small windows for passing, the small things for goalie. And yeah, you can tell you've played a lot of because when you get down on offense, it's not like, oh, I just need to hurry up and get rid of the ball, unless it's the smart decision. One of the clips I have is you, and it's funny because you have Bob talking, and you can hear him say, "Make a smart decision, Leota. Make a smart decision," and then you peel off, get the ball over to Ty, who I think feeds it to, I think it's Alex out front, and Alex scores. But yeah,
Mhm.
that's you definitely tend to make the right decisions down there. I think you've put
Okay?
yourself in a pretty good
Leota,
position
easy,
to
easy. Make a
try to
good
make one of
decision
these
here.
teams. I mean, watching you out
You
there,
worked
you
hard to get
are
the ball.
an animal.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
Great
I'm
decision.
trying. You know, it's one thing like from learning from Neil, who I I learned so much knowledge from Neil where because I don't normally get too many offensive actual shifts, but when I do get the ball down there, you know, I just think about him telling me like just be patient and just look and just really open your eyes because field it's very open. You know, it's easy to just toss the ball up to someone and they get it, but box there's very little room for error. So I just always think about what he said and you know just look like there's a time where I believe we were at JFK and I squeezed the ball to tie in like this little, very small window. And it's just like, I would have never have made that pass in a million years. But if, you know, Neil was never told me like, hey, just take your time and just look for those small windows, it'll happen. And, you know, that just comes from playing and learning from these like knowledgeable men like Neil and Ty and Alex and Tony, especially, and a lot of those guys. You know, I can contribute a lot of my box knowledge to them.
Yeah. I mean, that and you guys have gotten just from playing experience, just from the teams you guys, like you said, thankfully Paul put the team together, and then you guys ended up hearing from all those guys. But having Tony there, somebody who's been up to, played for the Buffalo squad for a little bit, knowing how to teach you defense has got to be huge. And a lot of people, they always say Jimmy Faye's the heart and soul of the team. He's part of it, running it. And your defense, the games you guys win, it's when you, Versace Snow, when you guys are making sure you hit those transition plays. Really, it's funny because everybody calls the Yeti an older team, but when you guys are really playing good and winning, it's when your D and your transition is flying up the floor and you guys aren't giving the teams a chance to breathe.
Yeah, I mean that came a little later in the season. Because when we first started out, it was a little slower, like getting some guys out the door. Because, like you said, we are a little bit of an older team. So, no offense to anyone that watches this, some of the older guys, they sometimes walk off, not walk, but strut their feet off. And but we've learned now to really like get it moving and get it moving and get it moving, and then that comes with all the sprints that we run when we're practicing. The more we're running, the more it's more game like to just up and down the field, up and off, and transitioning fast.
Yeah, yeah, like you said, it's definitely working. You guys, made it out to nationals. Now, what was nationals like for you to be able to go out there? I mean, you're still pretty young. That's first chance to be out there, and you really got to see the uh, not to knock the upstate, but I mean, you got to see there was some amazing lacrosse players out there. That was some impressive. How was it to play D against like some of those guys at next level competition at nationals and at Laxney, really?
Yeah, last night especially, but it was just nice to see how like much talent there is out there, and it's not just like a Central New York thing. Because you know there is talent in our area in our league, but once you start really branching out and playing all these different teams from all over, it's eye opening, really. Like there's a lot of guys who I was like, wow, like you are very good, and like, me playing defense against them is just gonna make me better. And it's really good to just play different teams, more talented teams, and you could see who really plays all year round. Like I know a lot of the Yeti guys are Bang City guys, but it's not everybody, and it's just when you play against teams that are well like well matured and have a lot of good chemistry. You can play as much defense as you want, but you're still turning your head every which way, and it really builds up your skills a lot.
Yeah, having well, and especially the getting you're so comfortable with each other. I mean, some of that group's been together for quite a while, and yeah, being a new part in that, like you said, it's impressive to see how well you guys played against some of those teams, holding them down below 10 goals, which doesn't sound like very impressive if you hear it, but it's like, wow, you held, Israel, uh, the Israel national team to whatever. And it was like, that was a good game. Yeah. You guys had your moments where it looked like, oh man, there's a lot of good players out there and we're kind of watching them play. But for the most part, you didn't get blown out. And, yeah, it was cool. And now that I'm watching it, because I want to try to get some highlights from you, I get a different perspective of watching the game. Like when I did a face-off guys highlight video there, I love it because you really see like you can see how far you've come this year from stepping out too far when you shouldn't be overly aggressive, and then maybe taking a penalty. And then as the
Yeah,
year progressed, you kind of got your head together where you were like, oh, okay, I my job is just to get that guy as irritated as I was getting. Here we go.
yeah. That came with just playing and realizing like you get more out of the game of lacrosse being like a respectful player. Like there's a time when to go hard and maybe give a guy a little poke when you're running by him just to get under his skin, because then maybe he'll get irritated and then he'll draw a penalty. And I can't help the team being in the penalty box, and it took me a couple of games to realize that, but I got it down.
Yeah, yeah. The first few times I was laughing. I learned your name quick. I was like, oh, there's Leota going to the box. Oh, there's
Yeah.
Leota going to the box.
Mhm.
It
I
was
mean,
fun.
I'm big on is There was a time when we were in the odd, like when Brandon Davis hit a guy and like, their teammates are running over, getting in his face, and it's like I may be this one of the smaller guys on the team, but I'm not gonna let one of our players get pushed around by a bunch of guys on the other team. Like I'm always there if like one of the guys is getting hit in the back of the head when they're laying on the ground. Like I'm gonna defend my teammates as much as I can because they welcomed me on the team with open arms. So you just gotta defend your players. It's like a family.
Oh yeah, that's why I said it's not that you stopped taking penalties completely. You just got a lot smarter about when and where they were. And I went from only talking about, oh, there's Leota taking a penalty to by the playoff game or the play-in game to get to nationals where, you had two goals and they were really significant goals. It was like, okay, boys, let's get it together and start moving. And then, all right, yeah, look at we tied it right before halftime. Let's go. So yeah, that's awesome. I was so stoked when Paul told me how old you were and that you were like this was your first year playing box. I was like, no way. And he was like, yeah, this is his first year. He's like, he's just an animal though. He's like, that's what he does. It's who he is. He's a machine out there.
Yeah, it was funny like going in the locker room the first time, even for tryouts, and I was like looking around. And I was like, I really am the youngest kid on this team, and I thought I was going to be the youngest in the league until I met some of the Oswego kids. But yeah, I was surprised, and even being on like the youngest on the team, Neil's the same age as my dad, and like and it's just funny, and like Chris Ryan's the same age as my older sister, so it's just funny how I'm just so young compared to these guys who have years and years of playing ahead of me, and it's just they welcomed me like a little brother, and I couldn't be more thankful.
Yeah, no, and you did a good job out there. You're yeah, I can't wait to see you keep playing. I'm hoping that if you make the team down there that you'll get to play and they stream these games, but I'm also hoping you're going to allow you guys to still play summer league with your with the Yeti and with the other teams.
Oh, definitely. I know. I mean, I don't know what the rules are in the PBLA, but I know that there are some overlaps with the Yeti season, but there also isn't where I there will be opportunity for me to play with the Yeti. So, and I which I would love to. I mean, I know I got to move on to bigger and better things, but I'm not done with the Yeti yet. It's a great time.
Yeah, no, the Yeti I think the whole thing with the Yeti is once you're part of that group, it's like, well, you're with us for life. I mean, you might go play here for a little while, you might go play there for a little while, but we'll see you, we know we're going to see you again.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
that's when I was talking to Jimmy Fay there, or Fay Farm, sorry. Fay Farms was like, he goes, yeah, I was going through jerseys and I've got like 70 different teams that I've played for throughout the years. It's so funny how many teams everybody ends up playing for. I'm really hoping that they put you in down there. I could see you being one of those little enforcer, just go out there, get it stirred up. Hey, we need the momentum. Go get the ball. Yeah. You I think you'd be great for any team that decides to take you. I think it'll be exciting, and if you, as long as you feel comfortable out there and go out there and play the way you you play with these guys, I don't think it's gonna be, I don't think it's gonna be an issue at all for you to make the team as long as you can keep the stick in your hands because that's one of your biggest assets, being able to get down the floor and then being able to finish. Now, how long have you played with some of these guys? Like, did you know Charlie Versace before the Al Snow? None of them.
None of them. The only person I knew was Suits. Definitely, I knew him for a while through Austin Curtis, who didn't play this year. And Blaine a little bit through Nick Suits and Niles through men's league. I mean, I know a lot of the guys through men's league, especially Sully. Sully was one of like the first older guys I like became kind of like friends with because through men's league. And so I know a couple of them, but Suits for the most part is the one I've known the longest.
Yeah, and it sucked that he kind of got banged up there halfway through the season. But like he is another one who hasn't played a ton of box lacrosse, but when he's on point, man, he is smooth and he can finish.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that something? That's something you should do though. Get a hold of Sully. He'll let you shoot on him. I bet you he's just itching for a chance to throw the pads on and get out there. I talked to him the other day,
Oh,
and he was like, I don't know if you had a chance to watch his podcast, but he said he's like, man, I really was chomping at the bit. He's like, I've got my kids and everything now. It's hard for me to justify traveling that much, but man, do I, part of me wants to go like you guys are being able to go do that. I just think that's so cool. They started this league, and I'm really hoping we see several Yeti out there. But so like I got to talk to Versace and Snow too because what is like their background because you could tell this was not their first game and like you guys all mesh together so well like Niles and like Gareth everybody on your team you guys the way you flow in and out is pretty impressive.
mm. I don't. Chuck, I know a little bit about. Snow, not so much. I just know Chuck through some of the SUNY Poly kids. I know some of those guys, and I know Chuck's a field goalie, so it's quite funny actually seeing him in goalie pads. But um, for a field goalie, he handles himself well out in the field. I think he does a really good job. Transitioning the ball. Same with Snow, and it's fun seeing Snow take some O shifts out there, like a big presence on the O floor, setting a pick, and I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of one of those picks.
No, absolutely not. And that was the main reason I asked you about Versace was Sully told me that he was a goalie, and I could not believe that like he showed up to the first Yeti thing as a goalie, and then sitting on the bench wasn't for him. You can tell he's a lot of fun out there to watch too. He's one of those guys like you guys are all so emotional. That's my favorite part about it is when you really take it personal when like if you let something happen and you go out there, you make sure you stick up for everybody, but nobody blames each other. The way, like a couple of the other guys I've talked to from some of the other teams, they always talk about the closeness of the Yeti is a big thing. It's a big family. You guys are all going out. Everybody likes talking smack. A lot of people like talking smack about suits. It seems to be most people's favorite subject I found, but
Oh yeah, it's the easiest.
it is. But I got to get running because I got to get out into the woods a little bit, try to hunt. But it's been awesome
So,
talking to you, bud. I wish you nothing but the best. And if you keep me posted, like when you go down there, like, hey, I made the team, or hey, we got a game this night. And yeah, I'll try to do what I can on my end to get you shouted out here. I'm gonna put a highlight reel together for you. You're gonna get a
all right,
couple.
awesome, thank you.
Yeah,
And I know some of the games, like there's one like the Neil's team actually, the Binghamton Bombers will be up in Binghamton, and I believe in Elmira as well. So I know if I do make the team, I'll be in New York here and there. So.
yeah, those are the games I'll definitely yeah, especially when you're playing Deal's team, I'll have to make sure I make it out to Binghamton. That's gonna be a
Oh
blast.
yeah, Andrew Davies on that team.
He is.
Yeah, he
That's
is.
that's awesome. I heard Condola is as well. So I mean they're yeah, no, it's gonna be I can't wait for this league. I am so stoked and I am so stoked to see like how you guys do and I can't wait. Yeah. If I didn't already have my Firewolf season tickets, I'd be tempted to go get it's a bit of a ride, but I think the closest team to me is gonna be Syracuse, but I'd be hard pressed not to go there and get season tickets.
I know, I know.
All right. Well, thanks, man. And tell your dad I said hello and your mom I said hello. They were awesome up there. And don't let anybody give you too much shit about your old man. I think he's amazing.
I won't. I won't. It was great talking to you. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Thanks a lot. See you later, bud.
Awesome. Take care.